So I moved into this house, really nice house, and it's a nice house. It was well taken care of. We liked it. Anyway, it's a long process to get the house. We got the house. There's a few things we hate. One of the things are the wallpaper. There's wallpaper in the main bathroom, and it is hideous. Once again, if you've watched my channel, you know I hate wallpaper. I think if you put wallpaper on a house, you shouldn't be allowed to own a house. They should make you go to school to learn what you've done. And that's just a joke, but it is. It is a little bit true. Check my shot again. Okay. Now this is hard. It's hard for me to get this shot inside the shower. It's hard to do, especially where I'm at. I'm in this corner of the shower. I've done all the easy stuff before I remembered that I would like to shoot a video about this. So once again, if you destroyed your house by putting wallpaper on it, and now you are being tasked with taking it off, good. You shouldn't have put it on. But if you bought the house that way, or if your wife did it, shame on them. Putting wallpaper on a house destroys the walls. It's a very, very hard process to get it off. And even when you get the wallpaper off, because the walls are going to be messed up, and you're going to have to do work to get them to where you can paint them. Now, this is I already prepped all this. So I'm going to show you. You see how easy that came off? Well, I don't think you can see that over there. So I'm going to turn around and go in this corner and show you in that corner the whole process. So here's the process is: you start with the wallpaper. You want to get the face off the paper first. And unfortunately, this is a double whammy. It has a border on it. And where that border's at, you got to remove the wallpaper twice. And it is not that easy. It's hard to do that. Like I say, this is hard for me to get this shot. I should have started earlier and given you some shots. So just wet your wallpaper. This says that it's some brand of cleaner. It's not. It's just water. Just water. Now, if this was on a regular wall, you always want to cover your floor. And especially you want to make sure you keep your baseboards wiped off, because this glue and all this stuff is going to fall down on your baseboards, and it could destroy your baseboards if you're not careful with what you do with it. So all you do is wet your paper down. Wait a few minutes, wet it down, and you want to get this face off. And I can't tell you a good way of getting it other than take your time. Once you get a big piece going, try to keep that big piece going. Another thing is cleaning up the mess. This is a messy, messy, messy job. Best thing, like I always say, is keep your mess picked up. It's kind of hard to do when you're in a space like this, but keep your mess picked up makes the job go better. Very hard to do in a spot like this. Now, all I did was wet that paper down. Just want to get that face off. Now, like I said, because somebody put a border on this one, you have to do it twice. I'm going to look for another corner I can pull from. And all I did was wet that. So I've seen paper that doesn't go this easy on the pull off, but this one has been. And then after you get the face off, you can start wetting the paper behind it. Just spray it down with a spray bottle. Just all needs to be sprayed down. When you get that vinyl or whatever it might be, you just want to get that off. And it just, you know, this paper has destroyed these edges and made a huge mess of this shower. Again, I said if you put paper in your house, you shouldn't be allowed to own a home because you just destroyed the walls that you put it on. Or you should be a millionaire or something like that. But you put wallpaper on your walls, you are ready to replace the walls, because I've seen many jobs. I've done it myself where I had to re-drywall the entire space because of the wallpaper. I've done it. I've had to drywall. I've had to put a 1/4-inch coat on the house because the drywall destroyed the wallpaper destroyed the drywall. So here we go. I got most of the vinyl off, the cover, and down to the paper. Once again, you want to make sure that everything stays wet. All I'm doing is still trying to get this first layer off. And like I said, because they put a border on it, you know, just keep wetting it down. It's really not this hard. You just keep it wet. Wet down the vinyl. Wet down the paper. Now what we're going to do is use a wallpaper steamer. I've seen some that don't work. This one I bought thinking that it wouldn't work. It has worked. So this is, I'll give you the model number, name, and everything later on in the video. But, so, what I'm going to do is put the steam to it. Start steaming it. Maybe you have some sort of way of doing it. I don't know, some sort of process that you do from here. Me, I don't. I just start getting it wet, start heating it up, and you'll see if you got a good, if you have a good scraper. Make sure you don't scrape too deep because you'll scrape into the drywall and you'll remove the, if you scrape too deep, you'll remove the face of the drywall and you'll have to be doing a bunch of patching. So you see, all I did was get this stuff wet, put some heat to it. Don't press too hard. You press too hard, you're going to get into the drywall paper. You don't want to do that. Be careful around the edges of showers and the edges of bathtubs because they're always wet, and the paper has hidden the fact that water has laid there over years, and you are going to have to fix the edges of everything in a bathroom that had wallpaper on it because moisture has gotten behind whatever that is, and you are going to have to fix it. You're going to have to fix those spots because they are going to be rotted out. And I don't care where it's at, what it was, the paper has hidden the water, and you are going to have to fix all the edges in a bathroom. You're going to have to recaulk it or at least do some touch-up putty because, like I said, the water has gotten behind the paper, all paper, and doesn't matter the house. If it had paper on it, it's in the bathroom, it's going to have to be fixed. So be prepared for that. If that's something you don't want to do or can't do, don't do this job. You'll see, I don't know if you can see it from there, but this edge, the paper has gone down behind that over the years, and that is all rotted, and it has to be fixed. It's not hard to fix. Just some drywall mud and some caulking. It all has to be caulked now. whatever you're doing, I didn't do it, but keep the steam on the wall so that you can keep moving. And you'll see we're down to the areas that had the damn border on it. And again, I'm cursing the people that put wallpaper on the wall. All this work is going to have to be done to these walls when they could have decorated with, they could have had colors and things with decorations instead of plastering the walls like this. And there's other things you can do now to, there's wallpaper that releases, but this was put on there by people that just didn't care that they were destroying their walls. And here's the thing, when you put that wallpaper on there, when you put it on there that your tastes are temporary. And you know that you're going to want to change it in 10 years. So you have to go into that knowing that, see, I just tore the face off that drywall. I'm going to have to fix that. So you went into it knowing that you were going to pay somebody to either re-drywall this whole bathroom, repaper it, or do what I'm doing. And if you had to pay somebody to do what I'm doing, I'd say you're going to end up paying a couple $1,000s. I wouldn't do this bathroom for under a couple of $1,000. No way. I wouldn't touch it for, I don't know when you're watching this video what is the state of the economy, but I wouldn't do this job for under a couple of grand. And you also have to remove all your electrical fittings, all your lighting, all that has to be removed. And there's some people that have some very intricate lighting and plumbing that has to be moved. So you can really get into some really, really big work doing this, and it just isn't worth it. Decorate your house using colors or rugs or something like that. Don't use paper, at least not this type of paper. I would say don't use any of it, because you're going to have to take it off at some point and you're going to curse it. Or the person that ends up with your property is going to have to. And they're going to curse you, just like I'm cursing the people that I bought this from. And I knew when we bought this house that I was going to have to remove this paper. And I was dreading it the whole time because it's such a job. And this is coming off easy. So this is coming off easy compared to the way it usually works. So this is, like I say, this is coming off easy for this type of paper. So what you're seeing is a job that is going good for what it is, and you can still see what a mess and how much work it is. And this is a good. This one's coming off smooth. Now, this is my process, and I'm going to tell you that this has worked out through several times of doing this, and this is, for me, this is the best process that I've come up with for removing this crap. Make sure that as you work ahead, wetting your paper to get it off. So there's my process. I'll show you a finished, show it to you you can see, there you go. You can, I don't know what the camera's picking up, but you can see how that's coming off now. Strip the wallpaper, but I couldn't strip that. It was behind the tank and that was going to look really nasty. So I had to leave that. So
We're going to protect those the toilet hole, because we don't want stuff going down in there because it'll plug up the holes. So, if you haven't watched my video on removing wallpaper, this is how you do it. Get the main covering off. If it's vinyl or whatever it is, get it off. And after that, you wet down that paper that's left. I'm going to get it wet. Well, matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and wet. We got chemical today, but you don't have to use chemical. You can use just water. I have chemical today, so we will use it, but we just need something to wet it down. So we're going to wet this stuff down, and then we're going to peel off the top layer of vinyl or whatever it is. And that exposes the paper. And when you expose the paper, well, you're getting all kind of lessons off of this little job. When you expose the paper, then you can get to the glue. Once you get the paper wet, you can get rid of the glue that's behind it. You can get it to release. And this is mine in case you haven't seen my video on wallpaper. Of course, I used a wallpaper steamer yesterday, which I certainly would like to have now. It does make it go faster, but you can do it this way without the steamer. Alright, so all the vinyl's off. Now we're going to wet it again. After you get the coating off, the vinyl or whatever it is, wet the area down real good with some kind of wet substance. Let it set a little bit and we'll go on to something else. We can start getting our stuff together for the other job. Alright, so I'm going to try to use these sharp connectors. It's coming along, look at that. See, my process does work. I tell people my little process does work. Follow it. It works. I'm really glad I did this because I was really concerned about what I was going to have to look at for however many years before I got straightened up behind the toilet, before I got it all cleaned up. But there it is. Now what you do, pick up your trash and you're going to spray it again and just make sure you get all the glue off. Now that's where the steam and the hot water would have came in really handy. Would be now right now if I had that, I would be able to get all of this glue off. The way it's going, I'm not going to be able to get it all off probably because I don't have the steamer in here. No, I don't have the steamer in here to get it. I may be able to get most of it. Especially if I go get that pad that I'm talking about to clean the pipe with. Alright, we need to turn the fan on. I forgot about having a fan on it. Certainly it helped have some air movement in here. So it looks like the glue's doing good over there. I'm going to wipe it off and then I'm going to finish with that part of the job. I'm going to get back on this, getting this sink back together. Now, if your valves are holding correctly, see in my house right now, nobody can use the bathroom because the water's turned off. But if your valves hold correctly, you can do this work. And just by turning off your service valves, your valves to whatever you're working on. So that's why it's important if you have a leak or if you have to get back here to do something, or change a toilet or whatever. If you don't have valves at work, you can't do that. So all of these valves were bad, and now we're going to replace them. So let's start putting it back together. I will set this toilet in place just to get it out of the way. I can tell my back's going to be out tonight. When you put a toilet in, it's one of the worst things you can do for your back because you have to bend. You have to hold the toilet out. Toilets are very heavy. You have to hold them out while you put them in place. And they're very heavy.
All right, so here's a look at the faucet completed. What it looks like. So here's a look at the faucet. Here's a look at the faucet completed. And the staining from the previous faucet. We're going to replace this top anyway. This is just on there temporary. And honestly, I think I'm going to replace that faucet. I don't like the looks of it. It was a quality faucet, but it was on sale. So I bought it because it was a good name and it was on sale. And I needed one now. I didn't really have time to look at the styles or anything like that. So that's what we ended up with. Here's a look at the walls. Things are really coming together. I could actually paint this today if I wanted to. I could knock this gravel mud off really quick, and it would be smooth enough and ready to paint. But I'm going to take a little more time on it. There's some spots here in the corner I don't really know what to do with. I could probably get it all. I'm gonna have to just try to do my regular process and get it off, but just a corner that's really time consuming for just that one little piece, but I'm gonna have to do it. I took a look at the lights last night. I pulled one of them down and there's this wall behind there. There's no hole or anything, just a hole for the wires to come out. But there is paper behind there, so I'm gonna pull them down one at a time and pull the paper off and get them ready for the new fixtures. The new fixtures don't cover up that much real estate. It's a much smaller little footprint that they set on. So pulling it off and getting it and getting the new ones put on. All right, so here we are. Job complete. Took all that old nasty wallpaper off. And you'll see that decorating with colors and paintings, rugs, towels, things like that, wall hangings, rather than wallpaper that destroys the walls. Now I had to redo these walls. I know they're not perfect, but they look much better. I had to, all these edges had to be remudded, sanded down, and caulked. Still have a little bit of caulking to do, and you can still see, if you look at an angle, you may be able, the video may pick it up, you'll see a little glossiness behind the paint, and that is residue of glue. That you can almost never get that stuff off. I'm telling you, you can't get it off. That's why you should not put wallpaper on walls. But here is the finished, somewhat finished. We haven't finished decorating, but you can see overall you can get a view of what's going on, what we're doing. So yeah, and I'll turn on the main lights. I don't know if that's gonna blow it out, but maybe you can get a overall view of that. I think it looks much better, and you know, like, it's subjective. You know, what I think is good looking, somebody else might not, but still it gives me the option to decorate without having to spend thousands of dollars and stripping the walls. Because that's what you're gonna do if you cover it with ugly wallpaper. And nice, beautiful wallpaper today, in 5 years will be ugly. And you will have to take it down. So there it is. That's how you take a wallpaper off. Be ready to spend a lot of money or spend a lot of time, sweat, and energy to remove it. It can be done. Although not on all jobs. I have seen it where you had to replace the drywall, but for the most part, you can get it off if you use this process. So that's where we're at.
Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. Remember, they may do it another way, but that's the way I do it. We'll see you next time.